My 12-year-old daughter, Mira, stood in my bedroom doorway at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night, her phone clutched in both hands like she was holding something dangerous. The blue light from the screen lit up her face, and I could see tears streaming down her cheeks. "Mom, why does Cousin Ray keep messaging me at night?" Those 10 words changed everything. I thought maybe he'd send a few inappropriate jokes or was being annoying. I reached for her phone, expecting to reassure her, maybe even laugh about it together. The notification counter showed 327 unread messages. My heart started racing as I opened the message thread. Line after line filled the screen. "You awake, beautiful?" At 11:47 p.m. "I know you're reading these." At 11:52 p.m. "Don't ignore me." At 12:03 a.m. "You're becoming such a special young woman." At 12:15 a.m. Then I saw the photos. Pictures of my daughter at family gatherings, zoomed in on her face, her hands, her smile, pictures taken through the window at her art class, pictures she didn't know existed, pictures no grown man should have of a 12-year-old girl. My hands shook as I scrolled through weeks of messages, each one more disturbing than the last. This wasn't just a few texts. This was systematic, calculated, predatory. Ray wasn't just my cousin through marriage. He was the fun uncle at every family gathering, the one who brought Mira art supplies for her birthday, who taught her card tricks at Christmas dinner, the one my cousin Lena had married 2 years ago in a beautiful ceremony where Mira had been a flower girl, the one I'd trusted to drive my daughter to art class when I was stuck at work. As I held Mira while she sobbed into my shoulder, one thought burned through every other emotion. He'd been hunting my child right under my nose, using family trust as his camouflage. And now that I knew, nothing in heaven or hell would stop me from protecting her. Life in our suburban Denver home had always been peaceful, just Mira and me against the world since her father left when she was 3. We'd built our routines around each other like a perfectly choreographed dance. Saturday mornings meant chocolate chip pancakes and terrible singing along to whatever pop song Mira was obsessed with that week. Wednesdays were sacred for her art classes at the community center. Friday nights, we'd make homemade pizza and watch movies, arguing playfully about whether we needed extra cheese. Our little 2-bedroom house wasn't much, but it was ours. Mira's artwork covered every wall, from her finger paintings at age 4 to her increasingly sophisticated portraits at 12. I worked as a dental hygienist, nothing glamorous, but it kept us stable and gave me regular hours to be there for school pickups and homework help. Ray entered our lives 2 years ago like a breath of fresh air. My cousin Lena had been single for so long that when she introduced him at Thanksgiving, the whole family celebrated. He was charming, successful, worked in marketing for a tech company. He made Lena laugh in a way we hadn't seen in years. "Sarah, meet Ray," Lena had beamed, her arm linked through his. "Ray, this is my cousin Sarah and her daughter, Mira." He'd crouched down to Mira's eye level immediately. "I hear you're quite the artist. I dabbled in art school before switching to business. What's your favorite medium?" Mira, usually shy around new people, had lit up. "I like charcoal drawings, but Mom says they're too messy." "The best art is always messy," Ray had winked at her, then looked up at me. "If it's okay with your mom, I'd love to see your work sometime." That should have been a red flag, but wrapped in family warmth and Lena's happiness, it seemed harmless, sweet even. Over the next 2 years, Ray became a fixture in our lives. He and Lena would host Sunday dinners. He'd show up at Mira's school art shows with expensive supplies as gifts. When my car broke down, he helped me find a reliable mechanic. When I got the flu, he and Lena brought soup and took Mira to her art class so I could rest. "You're so lucky to have Ray as family now," other moms would tell me at school events. "He's so involved with Mira. Not many men would take such interest in their cousin's kid." I'd agreed, feeling grateful. Single motherhood was isolating sometimes, and having family support meant everything. Ray never overstepped, never made me uncomfortable. He was just the fun uncle figure who understood Mira's artistic side better than most adults. The transformation was so gradual, I missed it entirely. Ray started texting Mira funny memes about art. Normal, right? He'd offer to pick her up from school when I was running late at work. Helpful family member behavior. He created an Instagram account to follow young artists and would share inspiring posts with her, encouraging mentor stuff. Mom, Ray says I could probably get into the Denver School of Arts if I keep practicing, Mira had told me excitedly one evening. He knows someone who works there. That's years away, baby, I'd laughed, ruffling her hair. But I love that you're dreaming big. He says I'm special, that I have real talent, not just kid talent. My daughter glowed under his attention. After years of her father's absence, having a positive male role model seemed like a gift. Lena would joke about how Ray was more excited about Mira's art than planning their own future kids. I remembered the exact moment I'd fully let my guard down. It was at Ray and Lena's first wedding anniversary party. I'd watched Ray teaching Mira and some other young cousins a complicated card trick, patient and funny, making them all laugh. Lena had come up beside me, linking her arm through mine. "He's going to be such a good dad someday," she'd said softly. "Look how good he is with kids." "You got a good one," I'd agreed, squeezing her arm. "We're lucky to have him in the family." Now, standing in my bedroom with Mira's phone in my hands, those words tasted like poison in my mouth. Every kindness had been calculated. Every gift had been a grooming tactic. Every moment of trust had been a weapon he was sharpening. The peaceful life we'd built, the family we'd trusted, the safety we'd taken for granted, all of it had been an illusion. And I'd been too blind to see the predator circling my daughter. The phone in my hands felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Each message I read sent another wave of nausea through my body. I sat on the edge of my bed with Mira curled against my side, her small body shaking with silent sobs as I scrolled through 3 months of calculated manipulation. It had started so innocently. Messages about her art project for school, a funny video about cats, normal cousin stuff that wouldn't raise any flags. But by week 2, the tone had shifted. "You're not like other kids your age," one message read. "You understand things they don't. That's why we connect so well." My finger trembled as I kept scrolling. The messages came at all hours. During school, "Thinking about your smile today." Late at night, "I can't sleep. Are you awake? I need to hear from you." Early morning, "Dreamed about you again." "Mom, I didn't know what to do," Mira whispered against my shoulder. "He said you wouldn't understand. He said moms always overreact and ruin special friendships." I forced myself to keep reading. Ray had been systematically isolating her, creating a secret world between them. "Your mom seems stressed lately. Better not bother her with our conversations." And "This is just between us artists. Other people get jealous when they see special connections." The gifts made sense now. Not just art supplies, but specific things he'd learned she wanted through their conversations. The exact charcoal pencils she'd mentioned, the sketchbook from the expensive art store downtown. Each gift came with strings. "Don't tell your mom how much this costs. She'll make me return it, and I want you to have nice things." Then I found the photos. My stomach dropped. Pictures of Mira at her school art show, taken from angles that showed he'd been watching from different locations. Photos at family gatherings, zoomed in on her face when she was laughing, eating, concentrating on drawing. Worst of all, pictures taken through the art studio window during her Wednesday classes. "When did he take these?" I whispered, horrified. "I don't know," Mira said, her voice muffled. "I never saw him there." Between the photos were messages that made my skin crawl, comments about how she was developing into a beautiful young woman, observations about her body that no adult should make about a child, questions about whether she'd started noticing boys at school, followed immediately by, "But they're too immature for you. You need someone who really sees you." I reached a message from last week that made me stop breathing for a moment. "I got us something special for your birthday next month, but it has to be our secret. Meet me after school on Friday and I'll show you. Don't tell your mom, she wouldn't understand. She still sees you as a little kid." "Did you meet him?" I asked, trying to keep the panic out of my voice. Mira shook her head. "I was scared. I told him I had a dentist appointment. He got really mad. Look." She scrolled to Friday's messages. The tone had turned aggressive. "You lied to me. I went out of my way for you. You're just like everyone else. I thought you were different. Fine, ignore me. You'll regret this. No one will ever understand you like I do." 47 messages in 2 hours. Then, when she hadn't responded, I'm sorry, I just care about you so much it makes me crazy. Please don't hate me. You're the only one who makes me happy. Classic manipulation. Anger followed by guilt, followed by placing the emotional burden on a 12-year-old child. Mira, honey, has he ever touched you? Has he ever tried to be alone with you? I had to ask, though the words felt like glass in my throat. No, she said quickly. But last month at Aunt Lena's birthday party, he kept trying to get me to go look at something in his car. He said he had a new art tablet to show me. I said maybe later and stayed near you. He seemed really frustrated. I held her tighter, thanking every protective instinct that had kept her safe so far. But as I looked at the escalating pattern of messages, the increasing urgency, the photos that showed he'd been stalking her, I knew we were running out of time. Ray wasn't going to stop. He was escalating, and my daughter had become his obsession. I didn't sleep that night. While Mira finally dozed off in my bed, exhausted from crying, I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop, creating a file that would become Ray's downfall. Screenshot after screenshot organized by date. The messages, the photos, the call logs showing he'd called her 89 times in the past month alone. Each piece of evidence transferred to multiple USB drives and uploaded to my cloud storage. I wasn't taking any chances. At 5 a.m., I made my first decision. I emailed Mira's school principal with a brief explanation and copies of key messages. Mira will be absent today. We have a family emergency involving a safety concern. Please alert her teachers that her cousin Ray is no longer authorized to pick her up or have any contact with her. My second decision came with sunrise. I needed witness testimony and video evidence. Ray was smart, manipulative. He'd deny everything, claim misunderstanding, play the victim. I needed him to show his true face. I texted my neighbor Marcus, a former Marine who'd become like a brother to us. Need your help today. Can't explain by text. Please come by at 11:30. When Mira woke up, I made her favorite breakfast and we talked strategy. I need you to stay at Marcus's house today, okay? I'm going to handle this. What if Ray comes looking for me? He won't get near you, I promise. I meant every word. At 9 a.m., I called the police non-emergency line. The officer who took my report was professional, but honest. Without physical contact or explicit content, it might be hard to press charges immediately, but document everything. If he shows any aggressive behavior, call 911 immediately. That's when I made my third decision. I would give Ray the rope to hang himself with. I picked up my phone and typed a message that made my skin crawl. Hey Ray, can you swing by today? Mira left her art project in your car yesterday and needs it for school tomorrow. His response came within minutes. Of course. Is she home? I have those new brushes she wanted too. Around noon work? My stomach turned. There was no art project in his car, but he was eager for any excuse to see her. Perfect, see you then. I prepared like a general going to war. Phone charging, recording app ready, security cameras checked, Marcus briefed and positioned, evidence folders printed and arranged on the coffee table. Most importantly, Mira safely tucked away at Marcus's house with his wife, Jenny. At 11:45, I made the final preparation. I called 911 and explained the situation. I'm about to confront a man who's been stalking my 12-year-old daughter. I have evidence of grooming. I don't know how he'll react. Can you have someone nearby? The dispatcher took it seriously. We'll have a unit in your area. If anything escalates, call immediately. Marcus arrived right on time, his presence filling my doorway. What's going on, Sarah? I showed him a few screenshots. His face went from confused to murderous in seconds. That sick piece of... Where's Mira? Safe at your house with Jenny. I need you to witness this and record everything on your phone. Stay out of sight unless things get physical. If he touches you, I'm breaking his legs. Get in line, I muttered. At exactly noon, Ray's silver BMW pulled into my driveway. I watched from the window as he checked his hair in the mirror, grabbed a gift bag from his passenger seat. He'd actually brought more gifts for the child he was stalking. I positioned myself in the living room, evidence spread across the coffee table, phone recording in my pocket. Marcus was in the kitchen, his phone already filming through the doorway. The doorbell rang. Such a normal sound for such an abnormal moment. I took a deep breath, thought of my daughter's tears, and opened the door. Ray stood there with his practiced smile, gift bag in hand, looking every inch the generous family member. "Hey, Sarah! Beautiful day, isn't it? Where's my favorite artist?" That casual possessiveness in his voice, calling my daughter his favorite artist, flipped a switch in me, but I kept my voice steady. "Come in, Ray. We need to talk." His smile faltered slightly, but he maintained his facade as he followed me inside. "Everything okay?" "You seem tense." I gestured to the coffee table. "Have a seat." That's when he saw the printed screenshot spread across the surface. His face went through a series of transformations that told me everything I needed to know about his guilt. The trap was set. Now I just needed him to step into it. Ray's eyes darted across the screenshots, his face cycling through expressions like a malfunctioning slideshow. First confusion, then recognition, then a flash of panic before he forced his features into manufactured outrage. "You went through her phone?" He straightened up, clutching the gift bag like a shield. "Sarah, that's a complete violation of privacy. Does Mira know you're spying on her?" The audacity knocked the breath from my lungs for a second. He was trying to flip this on me. "Sit down, Ray." My voice came out harder than steel. "I don't appreciate this ambush. Where's Mira? Does she know what you're doing?" "Sit down." Maybe it was something in my tone, or maybe he realized standing gave him no advantage, but he slowly lowered himself onto my couch. The gift bag crinkled as he set it beside him. "These messages," I gestured to the evidence. 3 months of harassment, stalking, grooming, my 12-year-old daughter, Ray. He leaned forward, putting on a concerned expression that might have fooled me before. "Sarah, I think there's been a huge misunderstanding. Mira and I are friends. I'm mentoring her art. If some messages came across wrong, I apologize, but you're reading things that aren't there." "Really?" I picked up one of the pages. "Tell me what I'm misreading about 'you're becoming such a beautiful young woman sent at midnight.'" "I meant her artistic growth, her maturity as an artist." "What about 'I dream about you'? What about the photos taken through her classroom window?" His mask started slipping. "I was checking on her progress. You work so much, someone needs to make sure she's okay." "By stalking her? By telling her to keep secrets from me? By trying to isolate her?" "You're twisting everything." He stood abruptly, and I saw Marcus shift in the kitchen. "Mira understands me. We have a special connection that you're jealous of. You can't stand that she confides in me instead of you." There it was, the real Ray showing through. A special connection? I stood too, my rage finally breaking free. She's 12 years old. "Age is just a number when it comes to emotional intelligence," he said, and my vision actually went red. Mira is an old soul. She needs someone who understands her artistic spirit, not a mother who just sees her as a child. "She is a child!" That's when he smirked, a small, knowing expression that revealed everything. He knew exactly what he'd been doing. He wasn't delusional. He was a predator who thought he was too smart to get caught. "Prove it," he said softly. "Prove any of this was inappropriate. I'm a family member showing interest in my cousin's daughter. Any court would see that." I snapped. My hands moved before my brain could stop them, shoving him hard in the chest. He stumbled backward, knocking over the gift bag. Art supplies scattered across my floor. But there was something else. Photos spilled out. Not art supplies. Pictures of young girls I didn't recognize. Ray's eyes went wide as he scrambled to collect them. But Marcus was already moving, his phone capturing everything. "You need help," Ray snarled, his mask completely gone now. "You're paranoid and violent. I'm calling the police myself." "Already here," Marcus announced as sirens became audible outside. Ray's head snapped toward the kitchen, seeing Marcus for the first time. Then he looked at me, at the photos scattered on the floor, at the evidence on the table. I watched the calculations happen behind his eyes. He bolted. Ray shoved past me toward the door, but I'd locked it when he came in. He fumbled with the deadbolt as the sirens grew louder. Finally getting it open, he burst outside just as 2 police cruisers pulled up. "Stop right there!" The first officer was already out of his vehicle. Ray tried to dodge left, sprinting across my lawn toward his car, but he'd parked behind my car in the driveway, blocking himself in. The second officer cut him off at the sidewalk. "I haven't done anything," Ray shouted as they approached. "This is a misunderstanding. She attacked me. I want to press charges." I walked out onto my porch, Marcus beside me still recording. "Officers, I'm the one who called. There's evidence inside of child stalking and grooming." Ray was still protesting as they cuffed him, screaming about false accusations and family conspiracies. The entire neighborhood had come out to watch. Mrs. Patterson from next door had her hand over her mouth. The teenage Johnson twins were recording on their phones. As they put Ray in the back of the cruiser, he looked at me through the window. Gone was the charming family man, the supportive cousin, the art mentor. All I saw was the predator who'd hunted my child. "Where's your daughter?" the lead officer asked me gently. "Safe," I said, finally able to breathe. "She's safe." The investigation that followed revealed the true scope of Ray's predatory behavior. Those photos in his gift bag led police to discover he'd been grooming 3 other young girls in the family, including Lena's own niece from her sister's side. The trial took 8 months of pure hell, but we showed up every single day. Mira held my hand as we walked past Ray in the courtroom, her head high, refusing to be his victim anymore. During my victim impact statement, I made Ray look at us. "You counted on family loyalty to protect you. You counted on our politeness, our desire to avoid drama, our benefit of the doubt. You manipulated a child's trust and tried to steal her innocence. But you failed. You failed because my daughter was brave enough to ask one question." The judge sentenced Ray to 20 years in federal prison and a $75,000 fine. He'll be a registered sex offender for life. Lena divorced him before the trial even started and has been in therapy working through her own trauma of discovering who she'd really married. Mira's healing journey hasn't been easy. She burned every piece of art Ray had ever complimented, saying she needed to reclaim her talent as her own. But from those ashes, something powerful grew. She started speaking at her therapy group, helping other kids recognize grooming behaviors. She created an art series about finding her voice that won first place at the state competition. "I used to think keeping secrets meant being grown up," she told the judges. "Now I know that speaking up is the bravest thing anyone can do." Last week, we were at the grocery store when a mom with a young daughter recognized us from the news coverage. She pulled me aside while our kids looked at magazines. "My daughter's coach has been texting her," she whispered. "Nothing explicit yet, but something feels wrong. After seeing your story, I'm going to trust my gut." That's why I'm sharing this story, because predators don't look like monsters. They look like Ray, charming, helpful, family. They count on our discomfort with confrontation, our fear of being wrong, our desire to keep the peace. Here's what I learned. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't wait for explicit proof before acting. Check your children's devices regularly, not to invade privacy, but to ensure safety. Predators thrive in secrecy. Watch for isolation tactics. Anyone who tells your child, "Don't tell your parents," or "they wouldn't understand," is someone to investigate immediately. Believe your children. When Mira asked why Ray was texting her at night, she was really asking for help. Listen to what kids are really saying. Document everything. Those screenshots became the foundation of our case. Evidence is your weapon against manipulation and gaslighting. Don't prioritize politeness over protection. I was so worried about keeping family harmony that I almost missed a predator hunting my child. Community matters. Marcus being willing to witness and record gave us crucial evidence. Don't fight these battles alone. As I write this, Mira is in her room painting, not for anyone else's approval, but for the joy of creation. She's reclaimed her art, her voice, her power. When she shows me her work now, I see strength in every brushstroke. Ray stole months of her innocence, but he didn't steal her future. Because she asked one question, because I listened, because we fought back. Your children need you to be their first line of defense. They need you to ask uncomfortable questions, to risk family drama, to choose their safety over everyone else's comfort. The person most likely to harm your child isn't a stranger in a van. It's someone at your dinner table, someone with a key to your house, someone whose name is in your phone as family. Watch, listen, act. Because by the time the signs become obvious, it may be too late. Mira still holds my hand sometimes, not because she needs to anymore, but because she knows I'll never let go. And I won't. Not for Ray, not for anyone. That's a promise every parent needs to make. If this story resonated with you, please share it. You never know who might need to hear it. Comment below if you've noticed warning signs in your own life that you initially dismissed. And subscribe to our channel for more real stories that can help keep our children safe. Together, we can create a community where predators have nowhere to hide